I'd really just love to know what was happening for you like before jumping in and joining our community. What were you thinking? What was going through your mind at the moment? Like, I know this is just taking mine back like 5 weeks ago.
Yeah,
And
okay. So in terms of like when I signed up, I was in the space where I was like, I haven't taught DT in a long time. Like I need to get back into that like creativity, that passion that we spoke about.
mm,
Um, and I guess that's where I was.
like
Yeah.
what made you choose like now's the time to dedicate it?
So I was told halfway through the year that in 2026 I'd be getting DT back.
Mm,
And I hadn't taught it for a long time. And I was like, okay, I take everything like very seriously and I like to be a learner and I hadn't taught in ages. So therefore, I was like, I need to start my learning again because I'd been
yeah,
out of it for so long. Otherwise, I'm not going to be as passionate and as well rounded for the kids. And then they obviously see that. So I took
yeah,
it in my stride and I was like, I'm going to start my learning now. And then, yeah, and then I signed up and that was what I
yeah,
did. Yeah.
yeah, fantastic. So what was it sort of that caught your eye to go, yeah, I want to join the community and sign up for the program?
So I started looking at a lot of things, and then I haven't found a lot in terms of DT, like anything really, because I'm head teacher and my staff come to me and say, I need to learn more about blah. And I'm like, cool. So I'm across a lot of things in terms of professional learning. And
Mm,
this was the first kind of suite that I found that encompassed everything. So it took me from like when I was reading it, like obviously resource development to how I would be in the classroom to even things how I am as a professional. It wasn't just a quick, oh, here's, a resource, here's a 4 hour thing and you can be done. It was a bit more of a community kind of like, not hand holding, but like a helpful step, I guess.
yeah.
More community, like, which is what we are.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So it was that like here's more than just a few resources. Here's we can ask those questions. We can just dive in a little bit deeper to the problems that we might encounter now. And
Absolutely.
then you can have that guidance for your staff later, where if they ask you the same question, you can go, oh well, we could do X, Y, Z.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And if I can't answer them, I have people that in a community that can help as well. Because at school we're very large. So,
Mhm.
we've got multiple design tech teachers, we've got multiple, like we run stage 5 and stage 6, and there's a lot of different aspects that we do. And having a community behind me allows me to be better for them.
Yeah, yeah, fantastic. I love that. So I suppose obviously it's only been like a few weeks.
Yeah.
Um, so what's different now that you've joined than when you sort of started? What are you seeing in yourself? Is there anything in teaching or leadership that you're starting to see any changes?
So I did implement so when we did our masterclass, implemented the check-in
Hmm.
in software, so not in design tech, but in software. The kids really enjoyed it, which was good. So I could already see some of the concepts and principles that we had spoken about being transferable as well.
Mm,
So I then was like, oh, okay, this is pretty cool. I can then be like, oh, I had a conversation with my industrial tech timber teacher, and I was like, hey, this is what I did, and this is what I've been learning, and now they're going to implement that for next year for their major project. And I was like, this
yeah,
is like super helpful. And in terms of like leadership, like I said, like I have a whole entire, I guess, community behind me, not just resources on design and tech, but also resources on me being a professional, how to goal set and all those types of things that are being, I guess, I can use.
yeah, yeah, that's brilliant. And I suppose that's a point. I sort of just dive into a little bit more. It's like the infrastructure at the moment is set around D&T, but the
Mm.
frameworks are applicable to anything.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And I think as a good leader, you're able to have those transferable skills. Something might be delivered to you in a certain way or surrounding a certain subject, but then you have the ability to be like, okay, well, I teach TAS and there is umpteen dozen different
Mhm.
subjects underneath me. How can I then adapt this concept or this, resource or something to then be used in multiple units?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. So I'm curious to hear with your software and you implemented the check-in processes,
Mm-hmm.
how did that go with your students?
Yeah, it was good. It took me a little while. Like I had to explain it all to them, obviously, and they'd already
Yeah.
started. So then it was like, okay, so now we're going to have a check-in in a week, and they're like, sorry, in a week? What do you mean? And they started to panic. And I was like, no, but this is the criteria. And this is what like I broke it down. And, it was either you've either done it or you haven't done it. And then I provided them with some feedback. In providing them with feedback, they came up and sat with me. I did it in a double period. They come up and sat with me and I was like, yep, okay, yep, this is what we're doing. Oh, you've missed this, or this is a little bit like a better example. You need to link this here. So I took on what you said, they were writing their feedback. And then when they did the check-in the week after, I could see that they had actually implemented the feedback because they were the ones that took ownership over it. Yes, I talked them through it, but it was way more ownership than me just being like, you haven't done blah.
Yeah, awesome. That was the result I was hoping to hear.
Yeah, it was really good. And now, their next draft, like their actual draft, that's where we give one, is due on Monday. And they're all on schedule to provide me with the draft. Whereas in previous years, I get like half, sometimes less. Whereas now we've had 2 check-ins and they're actually ready and they're like, yep, we're ready for the draft.
Brilliant. Love
it's fantastic.
That.
Yeah.
So good.
Really good.
Yeah. Less work for you, more autonomy for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amazing. So I've only got like 2 questions left. And one of them would be like a lot of teachers, and you already sort of touched on that with like the industrial tech timber guy who's like going through those motions. A lot of those teachers are probably feeling like sort of how you may have when you first jumped in, don't know really where to start. I've got all this stuff to do, but I just want the guidance to get there.
Yeah.
If you could go back and give yourself a bit of wisdom just before you started, what would you say if someone was in a similar position to yourself?
Take the leap because you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah, love that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
fantastic.
It also comes back to like, I'm going to relate it to children. I don't have any, but when people say to you to raise a child, it takes a village. To be a teacher, it also takes a village.
Yeah.
So it's not about trying to do it yourself. It's not about reinventing the wheel. It's also about it's all about seeking guidance and support and help. Yeah. And like, I know that I have issues like with being able to do that because I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I've got it. And then I finally took the leap and I will not go back.
Awesome. Yeah, that's so good. I think that I love that concept of better together, that it really does take that sort of team approach to make the impact that we really want to make.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So last one, is there anything that we really haven't touched on? I think we've touched on quite a lot of amazing points of like where you are, where we gotten to, and what you're sort of taking away so far. Is there anything just from your experience that you might want to bring up, or we reckon we've pretty much covered it?
I think we've covered everything. I
really appreciate your honesty and your feedback there. It's been amazing
to
have you in the team.